The number appeared on a Tuesday morning, $500,000. I had to read it 3 times before it felt real. I sat there for a long time, phone face down on the table, not sure what to do with it. I didn't go out to celebrate. I didn't call anyone. I just made coffee, sat back down, and went back to work. Because somewhere between the years of quietly building and this moment, I had learned something I wasn't expecting to learn. The money was the easy part. What came with it was harder. My name is Emma. This is Money with Emma. And today I want to talk about something most finance content skips entirely. Not how to build wealth, but what happens when you actually do. It started small. A side project I began on weekends, 3 years before that Tuesday morning. Nothing dramatic, just a skill I already had, packaged into something people would pay for. The first year made almost nothing. The second year made enough to notice. By the third year, it was making more than my salary. I kept my job. I kept my apartment. I kept my lifestyle exactly where it was. I just kept reinvesting quietly, consistently, without telling anyone what was actually happening. And for a long time, that worked perfectly. Then people started to sense something. It wasn't anything I said. I never mentioned the numbers, but small things shifted. I stopped complaining about money the way I used to. I didn't stress about splitting bills. When a group trip came up, I didn't hesitate the way I once did. People notice those things even when you say nothing. The first conversation that changed everything was with someone I'd been close to for years. They asked, casually like it was nothing, if they could borrow a large amount. Not because they were in trouble, because they assumed I had it and wouldn't miss it. And they were right that I had it. But the assumption, the entitlement underneath the casual ask, told me something I couldn't unknow. They weren't seeing me anymore. They were seeing a number they'd estimated. After that, I started noticing it everywhere. Invitations to things that cost money I'd never been invited to before. Opinions on how I should spend. Suggestions about what I owed people simply because I apparently had more. Nobody knew the actual number, but the sense of it was enough to start changing how people related to me. So I got quieter, not secretive, just quieter. I stopped sharing financial wins the way I might have shared other good news. I learned to celebrate privately. And here's the thing, nobody tells you about that. It's lonely in a way that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't felt it. You hit something real, something you worked for in the dark for years. And the people closest to you are the exact people you can't fully share it with. What I know now that I didn't know when I started is that building wealth changes your relationship with money, but it also quietly changes your relationships with people. Not because wealth makes you better or worse than anyone, but because most people have complicated feelings about money, and when they sense you have it, those feelings come out in ways they probably don't even realize. The $500,000 didn't make my life look different from the outside. Same apartment, same routines, but something had fundamentally shifted. I was no longer building toward a something. I was now protecting something. And those are two completely different psychological states. I'm not telling you this to discourage you from building wealth. I'm telling you this so you're not blindsided when you get there. Build quietly, celebrate privately, choose very carefully who you bring into your financial reality, not out of arrogance, out of protection, for the wealth and for the relationships. This is a story for educational and motivational purposes, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research and speak to a qualified financial advisor. Subscribe to Money with Emma. Next, exactly how to build the kind of side income that grows quietly without disrupting your current life.